real quick because my teammates was some shit. So we hopped on here, as y'all can see. Look at my lawbringer. Look, I had to slap the YouTube logos on his legs and everything. You feel me? And my emblem like that, you know. Al mortem enemy. No, let me stop playing. Don't act like I got Tourette's. That's just one of his sayings that he say in the game. So this the man's I've been rocking with recently. Like I said, I showed y'all him already. Like my man's pimped out and everything. So he's low key been my main character that I've been. So he's been my main. This is my Valkyrie. I'm just showing a little bit. I'm just showcasing a little bit of my characters, you know. Yo, all right. Let me tell y'all. Like, all right, look, I got two stories to tell y'all. Let me tell. Like, so look. The first story is real quick. The main story I'm gonna title this video about how I almost died at work. I don't want like people, and I know if my family, so they're like, why you talk about personal stuff or whatever. Like it happened to me, so it really don't matter. I look back on it now and I'm like, dang, like that shit really happened. Like that's crazy. But like the first story I'm gonna tell you, I got into like this girl, right? The female character I just showed y'all, right? I was playing as her, and she was my main character at a point in time. Like I was only using her at a point in time, but she's so weak, so I stopped. But at a point in time, I was only using her, and I went against this girl, online. Didn't even know who the fuck she was, right? And every time I came across her, I was smacking her. I was smacking her. And keep in mind, I had stopped playing For Honor for about 4 months. So I stopped playing For Honor. I was only playing Rainbow at this time. And so I'm like, who the fuck is you? So she messaged me, and but I believe I have the messages still on my Xbox. I told one of my friends about it, so she knows. If she sees it, she may remember. But the girl was pretty much like, "Oh, I remember you," and I'm like, "It's crazy how if you remember me because I haven't touched this game in 4 months." So like in 4 months' time, I have not touched this game, haven't sniffed it, played it, even gotten near it, even hovered above it. Like I was so close to the point of deleting it because it just like I just wasn't playing it anymore, you know. So she's like, "Oh, I remember you," and she got mad because the last match when I killed her, I didn't use the Valkyrie, I used the Hitokiri. Hitokiri sounds like to me it sounds like a female name, so I used a female variant of her because when I had the cosmetic item on her on the female, it looked better, so I used it, and I'm like, okay. So she said, "Oh, I remember you. You're the Valkyrie that kept killing me," and she also said she was remembering me from a while ago, but like I said, I haven't played in 4 months. So she was like, "Oh, and Hitokiri is getting a nerf, so have fun with that." This is like what people be complaining about when the character is about to get a nerf and they see people using the character. So they're like, "Oh, have fun using the character before the character gets a nerf, and you ain't gonna be able to you aren't gonna be that good anymore." I'm like, okay, that's nothing to do with me. My teammate on my team right now, the third player on my team has Hitokiri right now. Hitokiri is a fucking god, but other than that, so I'm like, so I told her the only thing they was doing to Hitokiri was removing her hyper armor. And hyper armor is when like if you hit me and I activate my hyper armor, I'm invulnerable. So it will cause me damage, but it won't stop me from attacking you back. Usually if you attack me and I don't have hyper armor on, it'll stop my attack mid attack. But certain moves and certain setups have hyper armor. So I was like, that's fine and everything. Like, so she get to talking, she's angry, she pissed at me, and I'm like, but it doesn't matter because I killed you with Valkyrie. Like, I went against her multiple times. I killed her with Valkyrie, who's a female-only character. Like, she only has a female variant because that's their distinct set of warriors, the Valkyries. I killed her with Hitokiri, who had a female variant of it. And then I killed her with fucking Shinobi, who had a female variant of that character. I guess she was mad that I was using all female characters, and I was whooping her ass with these same characters, and she could not beat me at all. And I'm like, bro, like, first of all, it's not that I won't with you because you a girl, but it's just like you're arguing with me for what? Like I don't know you, you don't know me. What the fuck you arguing with me for? Like it makes no fucking sense. But so she was mad that I was a guy using female characters. She was like, oh my god, there's no real men left in this world because all like if they're gonna use female characters. And I was like, but what if the character has only a female variant? Then what? And she just kept ignoring my point. And then I was like, okay, but you're a girl using male characters, only male generated characters that have a female counterpart. Why aren't you using that? And she just wouldn't answer. She was just so pissed, and then she left. So I'm like, all right, fuck you too. Now, we get to the main story of this episode. The time I would say the time I nearly died at work, to be honest. Like, and you may say, people always people always exaggerate saying, oh, they almost died. Like, no, like in all honesty, like, I feel like that day was the day where it was the day I could have died. Woo! Get off me. Woo, got his ass. Oh, it's 3 niggas. I'm healing up. Oh, he got revenge. I gotta help him now. I gotta help him.
Capture Zone A.
Get your ass up out of here. Get off my mans. Get off my mans. Get off my mans. Get off my mans. We deep out here. Stop playing with us, bro. But yeah, like I was saying, that day I was feeling really sick, right? I was feeling like terribly sick. And like I said, people who may say they're dying, but they may not be serious. It's just an exaggeration. That day, like, it was crazy. So like I was extremely sick this day. I was feeling real under the weather. It was just bad overall. So I'm going to work. I'm toughing it out though. Like I'm not like sick to the point where I'm coughing or anything. Get your ass up out of here. Woo! Woo! Bro, what? I literally slid on the wall and fell out. That's the bullshit in this game. My back or my shoulder could have just hit the wall, but it made me slide and fall out. Okay. My teammate reviving me right there. Good shit, boy. But yeah, like I was saying, I was feeling really sick. I was feeling really down, but I toughed it out. I went to work. It was like one of those sicknesses where I wasn't feeling like coughing and like congested or contagious or anything. I was just feeling really bad. So I get into work. I tell my manager, I'm like, all right. So he was thinking about letting me leave. And shout out to him. He don't work there anymore, but this guy was the best manager I had. And he was younger than me, but he was the best person. I said player. Best person I ever worked for, like, to be honest. Like, he was an extremely cool dude. Okay, they just not gonna let me get that. All right. So, to make a long story short, I keep getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. Let me just get down here first, and then let me like clear my mind. Okay, so I get in there. I tell him I'm feeling pretty bad. I'm feeling really sick, and he was like, okay. He was thinking about letting me possibly leave early, and I was like, all right, thank you. I start feeling like around I don't know around the specific time, but I start to feel absolutely horrible. Like I start to feel like absolute dog shit, but I'm not feeling like dog shit to the one where like I feel like I'm sick, like a sickness. It's just I just feel so bad, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? I get really lightheaded, like to the point where I don't know what the fuck to do. Boy, get the fuck out of here! Hey, hold on, let me whip this nigga ass real quick. What this nigga ass? Cause this nigga, wait, hold on, like, come on, yeah. Stop running, bitch. I can't do nothing. I'm out of stamina. Come on, do that dodge. Do that side dodge attack. Oh, I low-key was playing with this nigga and letting me hit him because I was waiting for one attack. I could have already killed him, but all right. So I feel extremely lightheaded at this point. I'm feeling real bad. I feel like I start like tingling, like I start to lose feeling in my fingers and stuff. And this is something common. Like I have asthma, and some sort of like, and I was told by the doctor that day that I have an abnormally low heart rate. You can have a low heart rate. Everybody, like, so you have some people who have low heart rates. He said mine was abnormally low. So I ended up going to the bathroom at this time. And when I go to the bathroom, I guess I collapsed. So I'm going to just tell y'all from the accounts of what it was told to me. I was found in the bathroom by a man, by a grown man, right? By this older man. Boy, you trash. You ain't know I was right there, big dumb. Damn. So so this older man finds me. I'm like slumped up against the door, and he opens the door, and of course I fall down. Apparently at this point I'm already unconscious. My manager, like, he tells my manager Andrew, and my manager Andrew is just sitting there looking like, okay. Alright. This nigga blowing me. All this fucking dodging and running. Stop being a bitch.
Enemy rally.
Got his ass. Oh shit. Oh yeah, so like damn. So they find me, right? My manager finds me.
You capture Zone A.
He just spamming now. Alright, I'm fucking dead. Like, I cannot concentrate to tell the story. So my manager finds me. Him and my coworker and one of my female coworkers find me, right? On the ground, slump. My breathing is slower. And from what they tell me, it's like my breathing was slowing. It was like slowing down. And I'm just saying what was told to me from their perspective. I was breathing, but my breathing was slowing down, and I was snoring. And I don't know if people know what happens when you snore. When you're snoring, it means your airways are like closing in some sort of way, right? It doesn't mean anything bad, but in this case, I guess it was bad. All right, Hito, you just gonna fucking ruin it. This nigga got revenge too? What the fuck? But look, I'm sorry about this fucking story and how I keep getting sidetracked. I'm sorry. So like, long story short, my manager finds me. They all find me. They say my breathing is slowing down. I'm snoring, which means I'm trying to breathe. Like, my areas, I'm trying to breathe, but I can't. So long story short, they called the ambulance. The ambulance was really close. It was up the street. The ambulance comes in like 6-7 minutes. They get there. By this time, my breathing has stabilized more. Nothing is really like life-threatening at this point from what they know of. They get me out, and from when they was taking me out, my manager said my eyes were rolled in the back of my head, and I was snoring really, really bad. Like, I was just snoring hella fucking bad. And I was like, okay, so that means I was still trying to breathe at this point. Like, all right, like, you know, no biggie. I ain't got no problem with that. So we get from there. I get to the hospital. And that's when the doctors, they come to me, they tell me, like, he did me like this little ASMR type test. Like, he had the light in my eyes, told me follow his finger, all of that. I'm like, okay, like, what is this gonna do? It doesn't do anything really. He got his ass with that. That's crazy. So nothing happens. I'm sitting there, and I guess they draw blood from me, right? They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to figure out, how did this happen? They can't figure it out, though. And, like, that's the scariest thing. Like, when you, like you go to a hospital or something, like, you trust, like, these professionals will figure it out. But they couldn't figure out what was wrong. Like, they couldn't figure out how this happened. So they pretty much came to, like, a consensus, not a diagnosis, but, like, a consensus that what happened was my heart rate slowed down to the point where usually the people will pass out because their blood pressure gets too high. I passed out because my blood pressure dropped when my heart rate dropped, because my heart rate is already abnormally low based on what the doctor told me. And so from those two things, it dropped too low and it caused me to pass out. And my breathing was slower because my heart rate still wasn't going up. It was still slow and it was going slower, which means pretty much in the process, I was in the process of dying right then and there. This is just from what I was told, right? This is some of the things that wasn't told to my family, but that was personally told to me. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty fucking scary. He was asking me, like, they were like checking me, like touching me and stuff like that. and the female nurse who took my blood noticed. She was like, "Do you work out and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do." And she was like, "I could tell and stuff." And then when the male came in, the head doctor, he was like, he asked me, "Do I work out and stuff?" He asked me, "Do I work out?" I was like, "Yeah." He said, "It seems like you're pretty fit. This isn't something that I would expect to see." Um, that he mentioned something about he mentioned a pacemaker, and that I may need a pacemaker in the future because my heart rate is abnormally low, and that like they'll see if it could correct itself, like over, like I guess see if it correct itself, because they never came with a diagnosis. They never figured out what caused it. They just sat there and said, "Okay, your heart rate is abnormally low. We're gonna go on the limit, estimate that. Look, maybe your heart rate dropped, causing your blood pressure to drop, causing you to pass out." And I was like, "Okay." So they mentioned that I may end up needing a pacemaker, and he was saying, and at this time he was like, "How old are you?" I was like, "I'm 19." He was like, "Yeah, that's extremely young, for a person who may need one." Was asking me about my diet, my health, and all that, and so forth and so forth. And that was just a scary moment for me. It was a scary moment for my family. Um, I don't know any history of diseases and stuff in my family, but that was just like, it was just terrifying to know that that day could have been my last day. That I talked to everybody, that I smiled and gave people good words and stuff like that. That I saw my family and everything. Like that could have been the last day, and it was crazy because it was other stuff in my life that was happening, like other illnesses and other people having very bad illnesses and stuff happen like weeks prior before my people very close to me. And it just like, it was like one, and then two, and then I was three, and then it was like, what is going on? Like, why is this happening to us, especially at this time, all after one another? And it was just terrible. From my condition, from what they told me, my condition when they got to me, I was shaking. So that I was shaking, my eyes were in the back of my head, I was snoring. They don't. So my friends and them were noting to them from what my friend Andrew told me was that I was having a seizure. So I was my eyes were in the back of my head, I was shaking, couldn't really breathe like that. They got to me. I do remember, right, when the ambulance came and picked me up. I do remember this part because I opened my eyes. I couldn't talk though. Like for some reason I couldn't talk. It was like I was in shock. Like I couldn't talk. I was just looking around like what's going on, but I couldn't talk, and I was extremely cold, even though it wasn't cold in the store. So, and I grabbed on, like I was grabbing onto them, and I was grabbing onto them extremely hard, like what's going on? Like who are these people? I was just grabbing onto them, not letting go. So they had to like literally, they had these two grown ass men come and try to unpry my fingers because I grabbed onto two of the people, like two of the ambulance men. I grabbed onto both of them, and I was not letting them go. And I pulled them close to me, like what's going on? And I just had to grip, and they had to get two men to unpry my hands and to like tell me to relax and calm me down and everything. And then my grip got weaker. I went back to snoring and everything. I was lightheaded and all that all over again. But to make a long story short, they never figured out what was wrong. They're talking about I may end up needing a pacemaker, even though I'm so young. And that was just a scary in my life and for my family. So sorry for getting sidetracked constantly with this story. When you're playing the games, I'm gonna have to try to get better at commentary with games like that if it's not about the game. And yeah, I'll just catch y'all on the next upload. Peace.